Fair warning, from now on, if you see this sweater, the chances are almost 100% that we are going to be pulling out for Divine Rose 1 palette, because I bought this sweater to pair with this palette. Yes, I'm this sad. I buy clothes now to match my Pat McGrath palettes. Hi, hello, and welcome to today's pet pairing video. I'm just going to start doing my makeup, applying my eyeshadow base, and we're going to start chatting. As you can see, I got a haircut. I was so happy that I was able to go and get a haircut. Honestly, I'm just so happy that I can like pretty much go and live my life as normally as possible given the circumstances, because I have the best, most supportive like family, friends and colleagues. And my husband was willing to drive me to my hairdresser appointment on Friday afternoon. Although it was still, yet again, another experience where I felt like I underestimated, or like I overestimated myself, and I underestimated how much time it takes me to get places and how far things are. Like I still don't have a good grasp of distances. It's been 4 weeks since the accident, almost 3 weeks since I'm in a cast, and I still haven't learned my lesson. So my husband left me at like the closest possible spot he could in the city center by car, so that I can get to my hair appointment, because the hairdresser that I go to is in the city center. And he dropped me off at the spot that is, like I said, the closest to the hairdresser. And I was like, okay, you know, getting to her will be easy peasy, because it's just like usually a few minute walking, so like tops it will take me 5 to 7 minutes. Dear Lord, you guys, it took me 15 minutes to get from the spot where my husband dropped me off to the hairdresser. And as I was walking, because I walk like one step at a time, like if you're walking with the boot, you can literally do one step, catch up, one step, catch up. In a competition with a turtle, I would lose big time. So I was walking, and at one point, you know, because I was like so focused on like not tripping on anything, that I was mostly looking at my feet, and then I looked up and I saw this other hair salon, which I know is like almost at the end of the street. And I almost wanted to cry, okay? I almost wanted to cry, because after all that walking, I was still basically nowhere. Anyway, I did go to the hair salon. I did get my hair cut. I was really happy with that. But then the next day, just that like walk up and down the street, I was destroyed. I had to like relax the whole Saturday. I was originally planning on meeting up with one of my friends for coffee, but I was destroyed after that walk, and I had to stay home on Saturday. So I just hugely overestimate how much I can do in the boot, and I feel a little bit tired today again. And I think it's a combination of, you know, wanting to live my life normally, so I just go to work. Taking my Auric Glow Last now, which I finally feel like I'm maybe almost about to finish, almost 2 years later. Maybe. I work in the hospital, so we have access to wheelchairs, so my colleagues are driving me around a lot. But still, like, just the few things that I have to do on my feet during the day, like cooking dinner or like going up and down the stairs at home, just like the simplest, most mundane things in life, take so much energy out of me that by midweek I'm already exhausted. And also yesterday I went to get my flu shot, because I work in a hospital and they're just offering them, you know, to their personnel, and I've started getting them already for a couple of years. I never thought about getting a flu shot before I had a child, but now that I have a child that brings literally every parasite that he can possibly pick up at school or daycare, well, now it's school, we're done with daycare, I've just become a little bit more open to the possibility of taking whatever precautions I can take. I still haven't gotten my COVID booster shot. I'm taking my First Aid Beauty Bendy Avocado Concealer. Oh gosh, I will finish this product and I will still not remember the entire name and the brand. I can't, my brain doesn't take it. Anyway, I still haven't gotten my COVID booster shot. I did have COVID in June, and I know that it's been long enough for me to get the shot, but I'm so preoccupied with my foot right now that I can barely think about anything else. Tomorrow I have my appointment at the hospital, and I'm low-key hoping that I'm going to be done with the boot and we can switch to normal shoes now, because I don't know how people do this for weeks or months, walking in a cast like that or on the boot. It's exhausting and it's just so uncomfortable, and I would really like to take a shower, like a normal shower, and I cannot tell you how much I'm looking forward to washing my foot that's been in a cast, because I'm sure that, well, I try to like clean a little bit the parts that I can get, which is like my toe fingers basically, but I don't even want to know how the rest smells at this point. I don't want to smell it. Alright, for my foundation today, I'm going to do a combination that I've really enjoyed doing in the past few weeks. Oh, you know what? Before doing that though, I'm going to apply just a little bit of my Becca mattifying primer, which I've now resorted to using like the tiniest amount. And when I say the tiniest amount, I mean like the tiniest drop that I work into my skin first here, and then I do a couple of those. I don't like to put these kind of products all over my face anymore because they're very silicone rich and they make my foundations slip around. But here, around my cheeks, especially in this area where my pores look like little craters, this product does miracles, and I've really been enjoying using it like that, to the point where I feel like if I don't have it, I might actually miss it. Which will not be a problem because this is a little sample size that I had, and I still have a full size of this at work that I'm not actually using. Anyway, I was talking about foundation. I'm going to combine these two. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude and the Estee Lauder Double Wear Light. Ironically, both of these have been discontinued, so they don't exist. The Water Fresh Nude Foundation is a somewhat lighter coverage and a very light color for me at the moment-ish. So I like to pair it with the light because the light gives it a bit more depth in terms of the color, and it also, I feel like, extends the life of the Water Fresh Nude, because the Water Fresh Nude, being a lighter coverage foundation, has a little bit less staying power. So the two have been somewhat of a power couple for me lately, and also both of them are like 95% finished, and you have no idea how much I look forward to the day that I'm going to squeeze or like turn over the bottle and nothing's going to come out, and then we're going to amicably part ways, because I'd really like to move on to other foundations in my collection. I would like to try new foundations, you know, as they are coming out, and I'm curious. I think I'm very close with these two, and I think I'm also relatively close with my Dior Backstage. That one is also like 2/3 of the way gone, but I might have to save this one for next year in like the spring summer months, because it is a little bit too deep for me to wear in the winter months. Now, I did actually finish something recently, and I will show it in my monthly roundup and empties for the month of November, but I finished my mini Hourglass Dim Light powder. There is like just a little bit left around the corners, but I'm having such a hard time like getting it to go on a brush because it's like a teeny tiny pan, and all that's left is like the 4 little edges. I feel like I'm not picking it up well distributed on my brush anymore, and it's applying really unevenly on my skin. So I've just decided that I'm kind of done with it. And I was making an order from our local like cosmetics store, Douglas, which one of you so kindly informed me now offers Gucci Beauty as a part of their lineup, which is amazing, because so far Gucci was only available through the Biancorp, and the Biancorp just never really has sales. So I bought the bronzer and the blush full price. This baby, I purchased their finishing powder. This baby I was able to get almost 25% off because they had a sale recently, and I was stocking up on like some 40O UFO and my serum, and I have fallen so head over heels with like the Gucci makeup aesthetic and the products. I actually really like the products. I've fallen in love with the blush. I use that blush all the time now, but like their aesthetic and the products just they speak to me. Okay, they speak to me on a personal deep level. Out of all the luxury brands out there, I feel like packaging wise these guys are doing it for me, and this powder, just like the bronzer, just like the blush, is also doing it for me. So the packaging of this powder is basically like an amalgamation of the bronzer and the blush, in the sense that the compact looks very much like the one from the bronzer, except for the bronzer has this like Tiffany blue color here, whereas this has this like light baby pink color, which is also present on their blush, sans the little stars on it. So I bought the powder. Again, the packaging looks classy AF, and I just cannot with their packaging. I ordered the shade Natural. This is the 000. In hindsight, maybe I should have ordered like a deeper color, because I thought this was like a light beige, but it's actually like a white, like hopefully translucent kind of powder. So I'm going to be trying that out today together with you. I'm going to take my Sonia G Smooth Buffer, and I'm going to just stipple a little bit of this powder around the perimeter of my face, especially more concentrated around my nose and cheek area where things need to be blurred and, you know, they need to last. And then I'm going to slowly blend it out using my Sonia G Smooth Buffer. So far, this isn't really doing much. Maybe I just didn't apply enough. Let me apply a bit more. It's not really blurring my pores a lot. Only when I start working it with the Smooth Buffer, I feel like it's blurring my pores a bit more. And I really hope it's not putting some sort of like a white cast on my skin because of the color, which, as you can see, is really, it's like a stark white. But I feel like if you work it into the skin, it's more like a translucent powder, like the powder from McGrath, for example. The loose one is also white, but it's basically translucent when you put it on the skin. And I think this also has a, I was reading the ingredients yesterday, and I think this also has a little bit of mineral sunscreen in there, so be aware of that as well, because that will give flashback in photos. I think it looks fairly natural. I don't think it has like completely removed all the glow from my face, which is also not what I want. But at the same time, I don't know that it did much to like really smoothen and like filter my skin. But I also don't know whether this was the best application method. I will continue playing around with this powder, and I hope that the formula is going to impress me as much as the packaging, as much as the other products have, but maybe I just didn't apply it appropriately using this brush. Anyway, for my bronzer, I'm going to be taking this one from Nabla. This is the shade Dune, and I'm going to be taking it with my Sonia G Hinoki bronzer brush. So I made a little order from Beautylish. I've been thinking for the longest time that I would like to pick up some brushes from the Lotus collection, because the packaging of the Lotus collection looks beautiful, but I really didn't need the whole set. I just wanted to take individual brushes once they're available. And she released the individual brushes already like quite a while ago, but I took some sweet time to decide which ones I would like to pick up. And I finally settled on one face brush and one eye brush. The eye brush is like this like little tiny pencil detail brush. I'm going to show it as soon as it arrives. We're definitely going to use it. And the face brush that I purchased is a like a bronzer blush, like little slanted shape. I don't know the names of either of these brushes. I'm having a really hard time not putting my Gucci blush in the shade Rosy Beige to go with the look that we're going for today, but I would like to demo once again for you the shade Nude Venus 2 from McGrath. So that's what I'm going to be doing for my blush today. You know, I'm going to take my other Sonia G Hinoki brush, so this one, to apply the blush with. They are going to arrive today. Oh yeah, aside from the two Sonia G brushes, I also purchased a little Koyudo, like they have these like little cute like standing kabuki brushes with like different color patterns on them. So I purchased one of those because I've wanted that for the longest time, and hopefully it will work really well as a brush to apply powder. I haven't really purchased anything from Sonia's newest set. She released like a fusion eye set, and she has also released like the follow-up of the Keiyaki set, the brushes with the shorter handles. Keiyaki? Yeah, Keiyaki. I didn't purchase any of those because I'm very strategic with my Food Day purchases. I feel like I need to only get shapes that I need and like brushes that are really attractive to me, and not really get like full sets, because I feel like I'm just not going to get use out of all the brushes that I have in the sets. Even within my individual Food Day collection, there are some brushes, to be honest with you, that I have to like specifically make myself use because I'm not actually like too fond of them and I don't use them very often. Case on point is this foundation brush from wing gloss, which I actually don't at all like for foundation. It's just not my favorite. I do use it sometimes to like stipple bronzer, like cream bronzer or cream blush, but to be honest with you, more often than not I actually forget to use it. And I also have this brush from Sonia G, the Sculpt 4, which is another one that kind of baffles me. I do use it. I've used it for foundation, I've used it to apply bronzer, like powder and cream. I've used it to apply blush and highlighter, but it's just a bit of a puzzling shape for me that I don't really know how to incorporate in my routine on the daily, and I just always go for the brushes that I prefer the most, and then the brushes that I don't know what to do with kind of get lost. So even within my Fude purchases, I still have some misses. I like this blush, you guys. I really like this Nude Venus 2 blush. I am not going to tell you to go and buy it if you have the original Nude Venus, but if you don't have the original Nude Venus, I think this one's really cute. And for highlighter, I'm also going to take this one from Pat McGrath. This is the new holiday highlighter. This is the shade Venusian Nude, I think so. Which I hear a lot of you have mixed feelings about. I actually quite like it. I like the tone of it. I don't mind the sparkles, and I feel like because of that peachy nude base paired with the silver sparkles, you can use this highlighter in a more versatile manner than a lot of other highlighters. If a highlighter is too warm toned, you can't really pair it with more cool toned like face products like blush and bronzer. And if it's too cool toned, you can't really pair it with anything more warm toned. Whereas this one, because it's kind of like the best of both worlds, or at least in my opinion, it's the best of both worlds, it goes with everything. And I actually quite like it. But you need to be okay with a lot of glitter in your highlighters. I think once you work this into the skin, it does tend to look quite nice, and I'm not bothered by the glitter, but I can see it. So if seeing highlighter on your face really bothers you, then you're not really going to like this one. Also, I just wanted to make like a little short comment about the powder from Gucci. I feel like some products just need a minute to like settle down on your face. I feel like now that this has settled on my face and it actually looks really, really nice. And I'm quite enjoying it. I'm just spritzing a little bit of my sponge here with Fix Plus to merge all the powders that I put on my face together. And also this is a really good trick if you are struggling with the highlighter from Pat. This will really work the sparkles even further into your skin. Yeah. So now we're going to dip into the Divine Rose 1 palette. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this sweater is just made for this palette. I'm going to go into the shade Velouria over here and apply that through my crease. So on Friday evening, after I got back from my hair appointment, I was just really looking forward to enjoying an evening of good food and just like starting a new show on Netflix. And then I was thinking what to do, and I wanted to start like something that is not too like heavy in terms of like the topic, because I was thinking of maybe starting to watch The Watcher, which has been recommended to me by a couple of friends. But then I decided to start watching from scratch, because I had seen some commercials for that, and I saw that Zoe Saldana stars in it, and I really like her. She seems like a really solid lady, really beautiful. And it seemed like a, you know, good old romantic, you know, story that will just fill your heart with love and butterflies and rainbows and unicorns, and it will just make your day better. Nope. Okay, it did not make my day better, nor did it make my next day better when I finished watching it. Do not be fooled. Only watch from scratch if you are prepared to be wrecked, emotionally wrecked. That's not to say the show isn't good. The show is great, very well acted, based on a true story, which makes it even more devastating. I don't want to give too much of the plot away. I just wanted to give you a fair warning that if you haven't watched from scratch yet and you were thinking it's this beautiful romantic story that will make you feel good, then it's not that. I'm curious if some of you have already watched it and what you thought about it. Not that I expect your opinion is going to differ much more from mine. I mean, the story is such that you can't do anything else but weep like a baby all throughout the second part of the show. The show has 8 episodes, and I wept past episode 4 all the way until episode 8. So there you have it. The next thing I'm going to take is this shade right here in the corner, this brownish shade, just to deepen up the outer corners of the eyes. What else did I watch recently? I did watch The Midnight Club and finished it. We already talked about that, we covered that. I can't remember whether I watched anything else in the meantime. Did I watch? Oh yeah, I watched The Good Nurse on Sunday evening, which is not a TV show, by the way. It's a movie with Eddie Redmayne and Jessica Chastain, and that was really good as well. I have to say the movie is a bit slow-paced. I feel like the story could have been easily condensed to 1.5 hours instead of the 2 hours that the movie was. Again, it was based on true events. And I'm not giving away too much here, because even if you watch the trailer you will already know what the story is about, but it's basically about the most prolific serial killer in the United States. But it was really good, and I enjoy Jessica Chastain a lot. I think she's a very versatile actress, and I've enjoyed pretty much most of the movies that I've seen her in. At one point I was like, oh my god, why is Jessica Chastain in everything? Like, once they win an Oscar, they are in everything. The same with like Jennifer Lawrence, and I was like, oh my god, Jessica Chastain again. But the woman is so good and so versatile, and the movies she makes are just good and different from each other, that I really, really like them. Last year, I think in the beginning of the year, I watched this movie, Molly's Game, which was also with Jessica Chastain. Also, such a good movie. Anyway, I'm going to be taking now glitter glue. This is just my Depotted NYX glitter glue right here, to apply on the lids, where we're going to pop the metallic shade. And for that, we're going to still stick to the Divine Rose 1 palette. I'm going to take the shade, what is that called again? Lovelace. I'm going to take the shade Lovelace, which I think arguably or non-arguably is my favorite shade in this palette. Ooh, it's a toss between that and Astral White, because I really like Astral White as well. Anyway, I'm going to take a little brush for that, a little flat shader brush. And this is the shade here in question. This is one of the most unique, original and interesting eyeshadows that Mother has ever given us. It is a plummy, mauvey, bronzy taupe. And all of these colors, I tell you, come through in this shade. It sounds really strange and it's really, really bizarre, but they do actually come through. It is such an incredible eyeshadow. I love it. Speaking of favorite shades in Pat McGrath palettes, no, I have not forgotten that I've promised you already for like a full year to do a ranking of my favorite shade in every Pat palette. I cannot decide how to rank these eyeshadows. I have settled, I think, on my favorites in each palette, even though, as you can see, there is still quite a bit of doubt. But once it comes to ranking them, I'm once again in a pickle. I've had a little bit of fallout here, so I'm just going to take this brush and like whisk it away like this. And now for the next step and for this pairing, we are going to go into the Interstellar Icon quad, which I feel like I haven't used in just such a long time, and I've been really craving to bust out my, you know, quads, the Lux quads that were released 2 years ago, because I haven't really used them that much, especially on camera lately. In my private life I've used them a bit more, but on camera not for a really long time. And I'm going to take this shade here, this is this shade Hypnotique, and I'm going to just, I think, use that with a brush and work that over top of that Lovelace shade to give it a bit of a blue sparkle, because I'm wearing this sweater and I'm wearing blue trousers, so I think that's going to make a really beautiful combination. You know what, I'm going to go with my finger like this, apply a few specks of this. Ah yes, this works better. Yes, I really hope that I haven't done this look before, because I think I've done similar things with the Plummy Mauve shade from Divine Rose 2 and maybe the Subliminal 1 palette, but I couldn't remember if I've done this look already with Lovelace as well. And it could be that I have, in which case I apologize for the repetition, but at this point I've done so many pet pairings that sometimes I can't remember if I've already done what I want to do. In my inner corners, I'm actually just going to go back into the Divine Rose 1 palette, and I'm going to dip sequentially into the Champagne and this duochromy whitish pink shade. So this one here, as you can see, shifts from a white to a pink. And I think the combination of the two, it like the champagne sort of tones down that pink sheen a little bit, so you get kind of the best of both worlds. I really like mixing these two shades together. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Astral Solstice is just sitting here smiling at me from my desk, so I am going to actually grab a few specks of that as well and work those over top of Hypnotic, just so we have as much sparkle as humanly possible. We strive for that every day. On my lower lash line, I'm actually going to keep it quite simple. Take that same brown matte shade and run that here on the lower lashes. Oh, you know what? Too late. You know what? As I was saying that, I realized that there is a shade in the Interstellar Icon Quad, this purple, which would also look really pretty on the lower lashes. So I'm going to apply a little bit of that over top of that brown as well. Don't know that it's going to do much, but I really want to do it. I feel like you deserve to see the sparkles in this look, so here is a little bit of artificial light for you to be able to see that. I'm really in love with my lipstick choice for the day today. I've been really into all the vampy lips recently because the weather has finally turned a bit more gloomy and like truly autumnal, although it's still pretty warm for November in the Netherlands. But anyway, that's besides the point. I've been pulling out for Decade from Lisa Eldridge, and I just realized that Exotica from Pat McGrath would make the absolute perfect finishing touch to this look. It is the most beautiful plummy purple, and I'm legit sad that I cannot recommend this lipstick to you because it's part of her discontinued Lux Trans formula, but it is the most perfect like cream, well, no, it's not really a cream lipstick, it's sort of like this satin finish, and the color of this lipstick is the perfect plummy purple, and plummy purples are also really difficult to formulate. Other brands haven't really been able to do it right, and Pat McGrath has really nailed it with this lipstick. I hope that you enjoyed this look. Fingers crossed that next time we see each other, I'm finally going to be out of the cast and on my, you know, journey to full recovery from that stupid incident, because I'm really over it at this point, but you never know. Let's see tomorrow what happens. I will keep you updated. We shall see each other again very, very soon for another video. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Bye!